Okay, so 6 years ago, in March 2012, you had a massive stroke during your sleep.
Yeah.
It was your left carotid artery was totally blocked. So the first you knew of it was perhaps 4 days later. But on the night that it happened, we got the ambulance and rushed you to Hope Hospital, Salford Royal, where they did a brain scan, confirmed it was that type of stroke. And you don't remember any of that, do you?
No.
Okay. So what's your first memory?
Being transferred from Hope Hospital to Ashton Hospital.
And what sort of state was you in at that point? Bear in mind, this was just 3 days following this massive stroke.
I couldn't really remember much about it. It's just that I knew I was being transferred.
Okay.
And I can just remember getting onto a ward.
At Tameside?
At Tameside, yeah.
Okay, do you have any memory of how you felt at that time?
No.
Okay. So, do you remember your first physio sessions?
I remember them coming to do it on that ward. I don't know how long they did it for, and then I went back to bed and then I fell asleep.
Okay, so because you can't remember it, I'll just go through it briefly with you. 3 days later, in Tameside Hospital, you didn't have the strength to sit up yourself, because if you tried to sit up, you'd fall over towards your right, because your right side had been so profoundly weakened that you just couldn't hold yourself upright. So that is a lot of what the first physio was all about.
Yeah.
Getting you to stabilise your core muscles so that you could sit up on your own.
Yeah.
Do you remember any of the exercises that you was given there?
No.
Okay.
Then I was moved to the proper stroke ward.
Right, okay.
I was in a room of my own. And I used to have physio every day. But I'm not 100% sure what they did.
Okay. Do you remember any other sort of therapy you had?
No.
You had speech therapy, speech and language. And it wasn't so much about learning you to talk again, because that was coming back naturally. But it was about teaching you to reuse your brain to process information.
Yeah.
Do you remember any sessions that you had with the occupational therapist where they was showing you pictures of items and asking you to tell you what they were?
I can remember them doing that once in that hospital.
Okay. And how long was you in hospital for?
6 weeks.
5, actually.
5 weeks.
And what do you remember of your time in there?
Well, I was in the room of my own. I slept quite a lot. I did physio. Then I was brought out after two or 3 weeks and then put on the ward with the other people. But
that was because your bed was needed for somebody who had to be in isolation.
Yeah. But they were all old.
Yeah.
And there was only one what could talk, which was a lady facing me.
And how old was you when you had your stroke?
48.
Okay.
And then I was put back in the ward on my own for about, say, a week. And then they said I could go home. But you had to come home with them, and they had to make sure that the home was fit enough for me to be in.
Okay. Could you walk then?
Still couldn't walk.
Could you transfer from your bed to the chair on your own?
No, I always needed somebody.
Okay.
And then when I come home, my bed was in my front room, and I had a little toilet thing downstairs.
Commode.
Yeah, because I couldn't get upstairs. And the physio came then twice a week to do the physio in the kitchen. And then there was a speech therapist what came twice a week. And then there was a girl what came once a week to do, I think it was speech therapist then. Yeah. So then I had that speech therapy for 6 weeks. And then he said he couldn't learn me anything more.
But it was more than just speech therapy, weren't it? It was cognitive training.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he was teaching you to count backwards.
Yeah. Which was very, very hard to do.
Okay.
But with me having that, it was getting my mind working, you know.
Yeah, it was. We always referred to it as brain training, didn't we?
And then, like I said, he said he couldn't teach me any more. So that's where I can speak. But some people can't speak now.
No.
They've had training at home and they just left on their own with no training after. There's a little bit like with my stroke group what do some training, but a lot of them they don't teach them at all.
What do you think's wrong with the system?
There just isn't enough training in everything.
Training for you or training for the people that deliver the care?
For the people who deliver the care. There isn't the care about.
Right.
So I came home and was sleeping in my bed and having all this physio like twice a week until they finished. And it was only because of you keep mithering about taping my arm up that they decided to send me to physio then. If I hadn't got to physio when I did, I'd have been left.
So that's physio at the hospital?
Yeah. And I'd have been left. And I'd have to learn to walk on my own and do everything else on my own.
What about, so the people that came to deliver physio at home,
Yeah.
what do you think about their ability to teach you how to walk again?
It's not very good. You know, like, all they're bothered about is getting you walking. Doesn't matter how you walk, as long as you can walk up them stairs.
Okay.
And that's what they were teaching me, to get upstairs.
Okay.
You know, when they had finished, I could walk up my stairs. That was so, you know, I could go to the toilet, I can have a shower.
Which is important, isn't it?
Very important, yeah.
But they didn't concentrate on how well you walked.
No.
Just the fact that you could get from A to B.
Yeah. Yeah.
They didn't care whether you use your leg as a prop or however it was done, as long as you could actually move.
Yeah. Yeah. And then once I was upstairs, then they were saying to me that I needed to sleep about 3 times a day before I went to bed, you know, at 9 o'clock, which I did, because, you know, you have to do and you feel like you're doing it. So I slept all that time 3 times a day as well.
Do you know why it was important to do that?
No.
It's because your brain had been so badly damaged your brain needs to be able to recover, and the only way it can recover is if it's resting.
Right, okay.
So they didn't actually ask you to sleep 3 times a day. They asked you to lie down and rest.
Yeah.
If you fell asleep, it didn't matter, but the key thing was to empty your mind and just try and rest.
Yeah, yeah.
How did you feel emotionally back then, in the time when you came home from hospital?
Yeah, terrible.
Okay, in what way? Fed up, angry, upset?
All the things. Yeah.
All right, and how have you dealt with that over the time?
I've just learnt that I'm here. I'm not dead. And that's it.
Okay, and when you think about the way that it's left you, are you angry?
A bit.
What do you think about people who have suffered what you've suffered but haven't had the care that you've had? So people that are kind of left to fend for themselves, as you said before, where do you think they're at emotionally?
Can you stop it?